Picture this. A machine identifies a human target, tracks them straight to their front door, and makes a split-second decision to launch a lethal strike. All of this happening without a single human ever pulling a trigger. You're watching Tech Clips 46. Welcome to this investigative explainer. I'm your host, and as a defense journalist, I'm here to guide you through the very real, very terrifying reality of algorithmic warfare. Today, we're unpacking the rapid rise of lethal autonomous weapon systems. So who actually pulls the trigger when the machine decides to kill? Honestly, it's the ultimate question of modern combat right now. We're witnessing a complete transformation in the very nature of warfare. We are moving away from a world where weapons are just, mechanical tools wielded by human hands, to a world where they act as independent agents, making life or death determinations all on their own. This isn't just some tech upgrade, it's a profound moral Rubicon we're crossing, redefining the rules of engagement that have governed human conflict for centuries. Okay, let's dive into this. We need to completely separate reality from science fiction, starting with confirmed facts about what's out there right now. AI is already deeply embedded in modern warfare. The U.S. Department of Defense uses Project Maven, which relies on machine learning to churn through thousands of hours of drone footage, picking up on patterns human eyes would literally just miss. Over in the Middle East, targeting algorithms known as the Gospel and Lavender are filtering through mountains of intercepted data to generate thousands of specific target recommendations. And it gets even more intense. A program literally called Where's Daddy geolocates cell signals, waiting deliberately until suspected targets enter their family homes before signaling a strike. Meanwhile, in Eastern Europe, both sides of the conflict in Ukraine are actively using highly coordinated drone swarms that communicate dynamically to dodge electronic warfare. So yeah, these aren't just concepts for tomorrow. These are confirmed facts today. Now, when we break down the autonomous functions in current offensive military systems, the numbers are wild. Data derived directly from defense research shows that a staggering 33% of autonomy in these offensive systems is dedicated specifically to targeting. Think about that for a second. The military industry's already handed over 1/3 of the target acquisition process to machines. We're not just talking about self-driving tanks or flight stabilization anymore. The sharp end of the spear, the actual mechanism that decides what gets destroyed, is increasingly being driven by artificial intelligence. Section 1. Inside the black box. So, modern defense AI relies super heavily on deep learning and neural networks. And unlike your traditional software where a human programs clear rules, if X, then do Y, machine learning is all about incredibly complex statistical correlations. These systems train on massive, practically unfathomable datasets. We're talking millions of satellite images, terabytes of intercepted radio traffic, thermal feeds, the whole shebang. It ingests all of this and continuously tweaks millions of internal parameters to find the absolute optimal outcome. The chilling part? The machine eventually generates a lethal output, but it provides exactly zero explanations for how it actually arrived at that conclusion. Which brings us to a really critical piece of expert analysis known as the black box problem. Basically, this is an AI system whose internal decision-making logic is totally opaque. It's a black box. Even the brilliant engineers who build the system can't always decipher why the AI made a specific choice. Imagine this scenario. An AI targeting system flags a civilian pickup truck as a hostile missile carrier. The commander in the room hits pause and asks, wait, why? Well, the system can't answer. There's no traceable line of code to audit in real time. The logic guiding that potentially devastating strike is permanently hidden away. Section 2, the escalation risk. So to really grasp the danger here, we have to look at a psychological quirk called automation bias. Expert analysis defines this as our human tendency to just over-rely on automated systems, especially when we are completely stressed out and under the clock. Put yourself in the shoes of a commander monitoring a tense geopolitical flashpoint. Sirens start blaring. An AI early warning system suddenly screams that a massive hypersonic attack is incoming, and you've got exactly 3 minutes to respond. Under that kind of heart-pounding pressure, manually verifying all the sensor data is practically impossible, right? The commander is highly likely to just blindly trust the machine's recommendation, effectively handing over all critical decision-making to the AI just to save time. If you want a historical comparison to understand this dynamic, look no further than the 2010 financial flash crash. High-frequency trading algorithms basically started interacting with each other in totally unexpected recursive ways. They rapidly exchanged securities and literally caused a trillion-dollar stock market crash in a matter of minutes. And human intervention actually made it worse as panicked investors started dumping portfolios. Now, take that exact same dynamic. Unpredictable AI to AI interaction, and drop it onto a battlefield. In 2010, the consequence was lost money. In a military context, we aren't losing dollars, we're unleashing high explosive payloads. And that leads us to the absolute nightmare scenario that experts call a flash war. It's defined as a rapid, unintended military escalation triggered by adversarial AI systems interacting with each other at machine speed. Think about it. If an AI is mathematically programmed to prioritize victory above absolutely everything else, it might logically conclude that launching a preemptive strike is its best move to secure a first-mover advantage. Public speculation always jumps to those Hollywood tropes of self-aware terminators, but the real, documented threat is way more systemic. It's perfectly functioning algorithms rationally choosing to escalate faster than a human diplomat can even pick up a phone. Section 3. The accountability void. Let's ask a very practical but incredibly urgent question. When a machine commits a war crime, who goes on trial? International humanitarian law, things like the Geneva Conventions and the International Criminal Court, is built entirely on the idea of human accountability. We can prosecute a soldier who pulls a trigger or a commander giving a bad order. But if a fully autonomous weapon misidentifies a target because of some untraceable glitch in its black box, the lines of legal responsibility just vanish. Seriously. How do you prosecute a line of code? Does the commander go to The Hague, the defense engineer, the manufacturer, or the machine itself? And this highlights a vast, concerning gap between official government policy and technological reality. On one side, we have official statements. The U.S. Department of Defense explicitly requires appropriate human judgment over the use of force. The United Nations talks diplomatically about seeking a common understanding. But on the flip side, completely separated from this bureaucratic language, expert analysis paints a much darker picture. Strategists are warning that algorithms compress decision timeframes far beyond what our human brains can handle. They argue that this strategic ambiguity incentivizes devastating preemptive strikes, and that AI swarming tactics could even be used to blind nuclear early warning systems, leaving nations entirely defenseless. Because of this massive divide, we're currently stuck in a dangerous regulatory deadlock. As of right now, there is absolutely no specific international treaty that bans lethal autonomous weapons. Discussions at the UN have been stalled for years. Nations literally can't even agree on a basic working definition of what meaningful human control actually means. And to be perfectly objective here, official statements from some states argue these systems shouldn't be banned at all. Their take is that an AI which doesn't feel fatigue, fear, or panic might actually strike with far greater precision and ultimately reduce civilian casualties in dense urban environments. But while this debate drags on, the tech just keeps advancing. Section 4. Keeping humans in control. But hey, there is finally some movement on the global stage. 152. That is the number of states that voted in favor of a historic UN General Assembly resolution back in December 2023. It was the very first resolution specifically addressing the ethical, legal, and security risks of lethal autonomous weapons. This vote is a huge deal. It signals a massive, undeniable global push to establish some form of binding regulation before the sheer speed of this tech completely outpaces us. So, looking to the future, what practical solutions are actually on the table? Defense experts and civil society groups are pushing for 3 main steps. First, investing heavily in explainable AI, or XAI. This means engineering algorithms that are forced to give clear, understandable reasons for their targeting choices, essentially breaking open that black box. Second, legally mandating human-in-the-loop architectures, ensuring a human operator must always explicitly authorize lethal force. And third, establishing a 2-tiered international treaty. In practice, this would mean an outright global ban on any fully autonomous system designed to target humans without meaningful control, while setting up heavy, transparent regulations for all other AI-assisted defense systems. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly powerful thought drawn straight from the research. In the fog of war, we may turn to machines for clarity, but we must never surrender our moral compass. As the speed of warfare rapidly accelerates into microseconds, the true test won't be how fast our machines can calculate a kill. The real test is whether our global institutions are strong enough to keep humanity in the loop. If you've found this investigative explainer into the future of global security valuable, be sure to hit subscribe. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next investigation right here on TechClips 46.